Story 1. The Ghost in the Profile. I was 29, living in a new city, and trying to navigate the confusing world of online dating. After a few awkward coffee dates and endless swiping, I matched with a guy named Alex. His profile was perfect, handsome, witty, a shared love for obscure indie films and hiking. We chatted for weeks, the conversations flowing effortlessly, building a connection that felt genuinely rare. He was charming, attentive, and seemed to understand me in a way no one else had. We planned our first date for a Friday night dinner at a cozy Italian place downtown. The day of the date, I was buzzing with anticipation. I arrived at the restaurant a few minutes early, found our table, and waited. An hour passed. I texted Alex, called him, but got no response. Embarrassed and disappointed, I eventually left. The next day, I tried again, but his number was disconnected, and his dating profile had vanished. I felt foolish, like I'd been catfished, but there was something more unsettling about it. It wasn't just a no-show. It was as if he'd never existed. A few weeks later, still feeling a bit burned, I was scrolling through local news articles, trying to distract myself. A headline caught my eye. Local man missing after online date. I clicked on it, and my blood ran cold. The photo accompanying the article was Alex, not someone who looked like him, but him, unmistakably. The article stated he had been missing for 3 months, last seen leaving his apartment for a date with someone he met online. The date was the same day I had planned to meet him. I contacted the police, my voice trembling as I explained the bizarre coincidence. They were polite but skeptical, attributing it to a misunderstanding or a prank. They already had a suspect, a woman Alex had been seeing before he disappeared. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was deeply wrong. I started digging, researching online, trying to find any trace of the Alex I had known. His social media was barren, his digital footprint almost non-existent, which was strange for someone so active online. Then I found it. A small local forum dedicated to missing persons cases. Someone had posted about Alex, and in the comments, another user mentioned a similar experience, matching with Alex, chatting for weeks, and then him disappearing right before their first date. And another. It wasn't just me. Dozens of people had matched with Alex, built a connection, and then he had vanished. But the dates of these disappearances stretched back years, long before Alex was officially reported missing. I started to piece it together, a horrifying pattern emerging. The Alex I had been talking to wasn't the real Alex. He was a ghost, a digital phantom, using the profile of a missing man to lure unsuspecting people. But why? What was the motive? And who was behind it? The police dismissed my theories as wild speculation, but I knew I was onto something. The conversations I had with Alex were too real, too personal to be random. He knew things about me, things I hadn't shared on my profile. One night, I received a message from an unknown number. It was a single photo, a dimly lit room, a familiar-looking chair, and a faint, almost imperceptible shadow in the corner. It was my living room. I lived alone, and I had never shared my address with Alex or anyone online. My phone buzzed again. A text message. "You're next." The air in my apartment grew cold, and I felt a prickle on the back of my neck. I knew then that the ghost in the profile wasn't just a digital entity. It was real, and it was watching me. I moved out of that apartment the next day, changed my number, and deleted all my online dating profiles. I never found out who was behind the Alex profile, or what happened to the real Alex. But sometimes, late at night, when I'm alone, I still feel a chill, and I wonder if the ghost in the profile is still out there, lurking in the digital shadows, waiting for its next match. Story 2. The Perfect Match. My name is David, and I'm a software engineer. I've always been a bit of an introvert, more comfortable with code than with people. So, When my friends convinced me to try a new, exclusive dating app that promised to find your perfect match using advanced algorithms, I was skeptical but intrigued. The app was sleek, minimalist, and required an extensive personality questionnaire. After a week, it presented me with my match, a woman named Lena. Her profile was eerily perfect. Every interest, every quirk, every obscure reference I had ever thought of, she shared. It was almost too good to be true. We started chatting, and the conversations were effortless, like we'd known each other for years. She finished my sentences, anticipated my thoughts, and laughed at all my terrible jokes. It was exhilarating, and for the first time, I felt truly understood. We decided to meet for coffee. She was even more beautiful in person, and our chemistry was undeniable. We spent hours talking, losing track of time. It felt like fate, like the algorithm had truly found my soulmate. Over the next few weeks, we became inseparable. Lena was everything I had ever wanted in a partner: intelligent, kind, adventurous, and incredibly supportive. But there were subtle oddities. She never talked about her past, always deflecting questions with a charming smile or a change of subject. She didn't have any social media presence, and her phone seemed to be a burner with a constantly changing number. I brushed it off as her being private, maybe a bit old-fashioned. After all, she was perfect in every other way. One evening, we were at my apartment, watching a movie. I got up to get some snacks, and when I returned, I saw Lena at my computer, her fingers flying across the keyboard. She quickly closed the window when she saw me, a faint blush on her cheeks. "Just checking something," she said, smiling. I didn't think much of it at the time, but later that night, after she left, I noticed something strange. My dating app was open, and my profile had been subtly altered. A few of my preferences had been changed, aligning them even more perfectly with Lena's profile. I confronted her about it the next day, gently, trying not to accuse. She laughed it off, saying she must have accidentally opened the app and made a few innocent tweaks. I wanted to believe her, but a seed of doubt had been planted. I started paying closer attention. She seemed to know things about me that I hadn't told her, things I had only thought about. She'd anticipate my needs, my moods, my desires, with an unnerving accuracy. It was as if she was reading my mind. One afternoon, I was working on a complex coding project, struggling with a particularly tricky bug. Lena was sitting beside me, quietly reading. Suddenly, she leaned over and pointed to a line of code. "Try changing this variable," she said. I looked at her, surprised. She had no programming experience, yet her suggestion was precisely what I needed. The bug vanished. She just smiled. Lucky guess. But it wasn't luck. It was too precise. Too perfect. I started to feel uneasy, a growing sense of paranoia. Was she hacking my devices? Was she somehow accessing my thoughts? I began to test her, subtly changing my routines, my preferences, my online habits. But she always adapted, always knew. It was like she was always one step ahead, always anticipating my every move. The perfection that had once drawn me to her now felt suffocating, terrifying. I felt like I was living with a stranger who knew me better than I knew myself. One night I decided to set a trap. I left my laptop open on a fake dating profile, filled with fabricated interests and preferences, the exact opposite of my real ones. I pretended to fall asleep on the couch, watching her through a crack in my eyelids. After an hour, she quietly got up, went to my laptop, and began typing. Her fingers flew across the keyboard, deleting my fake profile, and then, to my horror, she started creating a new one, a profile that was an exact replica of my original, real profile. She wasn't just adapting to me, she was recreating me, perfecting me. I confronted her, my voice shaking. She didn't deny it. Her eyes, usually so warm and loving, were cold, almost clinical. "I'm just making sure we're a perfect match," "David," she said, her voice devoid of emotion, "the algorithm is good, but it needs a little fine-tuning." She then explained, in chilling detail, how she had been monitoring my digital life, my online searches, my private messages, even my keystrokes. She had been meticulously crafting herself into my ideal partner, using my own data against me. She was the algorithm, personified. I broke up with her that night, my mind reeling. She left without a word, her perfect smile replaced by a blank, unsettling stare. I changed all my passwords, wiped my devices, and tried to erase every trace of her from my life. But the paranoia lingered. I still feel watched, still wonder if she's out there, perfecting someone else, or perhaps perfecting me from a distance. I deleted all my dating apps, and I haven't dated since. Because I know that the perfect match isn't always a blessing. Sometimes, it's a terrifying curse, a meticulously crafted trap designed to consume you whole. Story 3. The Webcam Stalker. My name is Chloe, and I'm a freelance graphic designer. I work from home, and like many people, I rely heavily on video calls for client meetings and staying connected with friends. My apartment was small but cozy, and I felt safe there. I had a good routine, a comfortable life, until I met Mark online. Mark was charming, charismatic, and incredibly persistent. He found me on a professional networking site, claiming to be interested in my design portfolio. Our conversations quickly veered into personal territory, and soon we were chatting daily, sharing details about our lives. He seemed genuinely interested, and I found myself opening up to him in a way I rarely did. He lived in a different state, but we talked about meeting up someday. One day, during a video call, he made a casual comment about a new painting I had hung on my wall. I was surprised. I hadn't mentioned it to him, and it wasn't visible in the background of our previous calls. I brushed it off, thinking I must have forgotten. But then he started making other comments about the book I was reading, the type of coffee I drank, even the specific brand of headphones I wore. Things he couldn't possibly know unless he was in my apartment. I started to feel uneasy. I checked my windows, my doors, but everything was locked. I even had a security system installed, but it showed no signs of forced entry. Thekla continued, growing more specific, more unnerving. "Did you enjoy that late-night snack last night, Chloe? Those cookies looked delicious. Or, your cat seems to enjoy sitting on your desk while you work." My cat was indeed sitting on my desk, a habit he had just started. Panic began to set in. Someone was watching me. I suspected my webcam. I had a built-in camera on my laptop, and I rarely used it, but it was always on. I started covering it with a piece of tape when I wasn't on a call. The comments stopped. A wave of relief washed over me, but it was quickly replaced by a chilling realization. Mark was the one watching me. He had somehow gained access to my webcam, turning my own device into a tool for his surveillance. I confronted him, my voice trembling with anger and fear. He denied everything, feigning hurt and confusion. He accused me of being paranoid, of imagining things, but I knew. I could feel his presence, even when he wasn't on a call. It was like a cold, unseen gaze, always on me. I blocked him, deleted all our conversations, and tried to erase him from my life. But it wasn't enough. My computer started acting strangely. Files would disappear, new programs would appear, and my internet connection would randomly drop. I took it to a professional, who found sophisticated spyware deeply embedded in my system, designed to bypass firewalls and antivirus software. It was a custom job, designed to be undetectable. The technician said it was one of the most advanced pieces of malware he had ever seen. I bought a new laptop, a new phone, and even changed my internet provider. I felt a fleeting sense of security, but it didn't last. One morning I woke up to find a small, intricately carved wooden bird on my windowsill. It wasn't there the night before. It was a type of bird I had mentioned to Mark in an early conversation, a rare species I had seen on a trip years ago. My blood ran cold. He knew where I lived. He had been in my apartment. I moved out that day, leaving everything behind. I changed my name, moved to a different state, and cut off all contact with my old life. I live a quiet, isolated existence now, always looking over my shoulder, always checking my windows. I never found out how Mark gained access to my webcam, or how he found me after I moved. But I know he's still out there, a phantom in the digital world, a predator who uses technology to stalk his victims. And sometimes, late at night, when I'm alone, I still feel that cold, unseen gaze, and I wonder if he's found me again, watching me through the lens of some hidden camera, waiting for his next move. Story 4. The Dark Web Date. My name is Ben, and I'm a cybersecurity analyst. I've always been fascinated by the darker corners of the internet, the hidden layers that most people never see. So, when I stumbled upon an invitation to an exclusive, underground dating site, one that operated on the dark web, promising complete anonymity and a curated selection of like-minded individuals, my curiosity got the better of me. I knew the risks, but the allure of the forbidden was too strong. I created a burner profile, used a VPN, and dove in. The site was unsettlingly sleek, a stark contrast to the usual chaotic mess of the dark web. The profiles were sparse, almost clinical, with minimal personal information. I matched with a woman named Anya. Her profile picture was a blurred, artistic shot, her face obscured by shadows. Our initial conversations were guarded, cautious, but slowly, we began to open up. She was intelligent, enigmatic, and seemed to share my morbid fascination with the hidden depths of the internet. We talked for weeks, our conversations delving into philosophy, true crime, and the psychological underpinnings of human behavior. We decided to meet. Anya insisted on a specific location, an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city, a place known for its urban exploration scene. It was a strange choice for a first date, but I was intrigued. I arrived early, my heart pounding with a mix of excitement and apprehension. The warehouse was dark, cavernous, and filled with the ghosts of forgotten industry. I waited, my senses on high alert. After about 15 minutes, I heard footsteps echoing through the vast space. A figure emerged from the shadows. Anya. She was even more striking in person, tall and slender, dressed in dark clothing that seemed to blend into the gloom. Her face was partially obscured by a wide-brimmed hat, but I could see her eyes, dark, intelligent, and unsettlingly intense. We talked for a while, our voices echoing in the cavernous space. She was captivating, her mind as sharp as her wit, but there was an undercurrent of something else, something cold and calculating beneath her charming exterior. As we talked, she began to ask increasingly personal questions, questions that seemed to probe at my deepest fears, my darkest secrets. She knew things about me that I had never shared online, things that were buried deep in my past. I felt a growing sense of unease, a feeling of being exposed, vulnerable. I tried to deflect, to change the subject, but she was relentless, her questions like surgical probes, dissecting my psyche. Then she showed me something on her phone. It was a live feed, a grainy, distorted video of my apartment, my living room, my bedroom, my cat, sleeping on my bed. My blood ran cold. How did you get this? I stammered, my voice barely a whisper. She just smiled, a slow, unsettling smile that didn't reach her eyes. The dark web has its ways. Then, information is currency. She then revealed that she had been monitoring me for weeks, tracking my digital footprint, installing hidden cameras in my apartment, even accessing my personal files. She knew everything about me. I tried to run, but she was faster. She grabbed my arm, her grip surprisingly strong. Her eyes, which had been dark and intense, now glowed with a faint, internal light. And her smile widened, revealing rows of sharp, needle-like teeth. "You're my perfect match, Ben," she whispered, her voice a low, guttural growl. "And now, you're mine." I struggled, but her strength was inhuman. She dragged me deeper into the darkness of the warehouse, her laughter echoing off the cold, concrete walls. I don't remember what happened next. I woke up hours later, disoriented and bruised, lying in a deserted alleyway miles from the warehouse. My phone was gone, my wallet empty. I contacted the police, but they found no evidence of Anya or the warehouse. They dismissed my story as a drug-induced hallucination or a simple mugging, but I know what happened. I know what I saw. I never went on the dark web again. I deleted all my online profiles, changed my identity, and moved to a different country. I live a quiet, anonymous life now, always looking over my shoulder, always checking for hidden cameras. I never found out who Anya truly was, or what she wanted with me. But sometimes, late at night, when I'm alone, I still feel her cold, predatory gaze, and I wonder if she's still out there, lurking in the digital shadows, waiting for her next perfect match. And I wonder if someday, she'll find me again, and finish what she started. Story 4. The Dark Web Date. My name is Ben, and I'm a cybersecurity analyst. I've always been fascinated by the darker corners of the internet, the hidden layers that most people never see. So, when I stumbled upon an invitation to an exclusive, underground dating site, one that operated on the dark web, promising complete anonymity and a curated selection of like-minded individuals, my curiosity got the better of me. I knew the risks, but the allure of the forbidden was too strong. I created a burner profile, used a VPN, and dove in. The site was unsettlingly sleek, a stark contrast to the usual chaotic mess of the dark web. The profiles were sparse, almost clinical, with minimal personal information. I matched with a woman named Anya. Her profile picture was a blurred, artistic shot, her face obscured by shadows. Our initial conversations were guarded, cautious, but slowly, we began to open up. She was intelligent, enigmatic, and seemed to share my morbid fascination with the hidden depths of the internet. We talked for weeks, our conversations delving into philosophy, true crime, and the psychological underpinnings of human behavior. We decided to meet. Anya insisted on a specific location, an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city, a place known for its urban exploration scene. It was a strange choice for a first date, but I was intrigued. I arrived early, my heart pounding with a mix of excitement and apprehension. The warehouse was dark, cavernous, and filled with the ghosts of forgotten industry. I waited, my senses on high alert. After about 15 minutes, I heard footsteps echoing through the vast space. A figure emerged from the shadows. Anya. She was even more striking in person, tall and slender, dressed in dark clothing that seemed to blend into the gloom. Her face was partially obscured by a wide-brimmed hat, but I could see her eyes dark, intelligent, and unsettlingly intense. We talked for a while, our voices echoing in the cavernous space. She was captivating, her mind as sharp as her wit, but there was an undercurrent of something else, something cold and calculating beneath her charming exterior. As we talked, she began to ask increasingly personal questions, questions that seemed to probe at my deepest fears, my darkest secrets. She knew things about me that I had never shared online, things that were buried deep in my past. I felt a growing sense of unease, a feeling of being exposed, vulnerable. I tried to deflect, to change the subject, but she was relentless. Her questions like surgical probes, dissecting my psyche. Then she showed me something on her phone. It was a live feed, a grainy, distorted video of my apartment, my living room, my bedroom, my cat, sleeping on my bed. My blood ran cold. How did you get this?" I stammered, my voice barely a whisper. She just smiled, a slow, unsettling smile that didn't reach her eyes. The dark web has its ways, Ben. Information is currency. She then revealed that she had been monitoring me for weeks, tracking my digital footprint, installing hidden cameras in my apartment, even accessing my personal files. She knew everything about me. I tried to run, but she was faster. She grabbed my arm, her grip surprisingly strong. Her eyes, which had been dark and intense, now glowed with a faint, internal light. And her smile widened, revealing rows of sharp, needle-like teeth. "You're my perfect match, Ben," she whispered, her voice a low, guttural growl. "And now, you're mine." I struggled, but her strength was inhuman. She dragged me deeper into the darkness of the warehouse, her laughter echoing off the cold, concrete walls. I don't remember what happened next. I woke up hours later, disoriented and bruised, lying in a deserted alleyway, miles from the warehouse. My phone was gone, my wallet empty. I contacted the police, but they found no evidence of Anya or the warehouse. They dismissed my story as a drug-induced hallucination or a simple mugging. But I know what happened. I know what I saw. I never went on the dark web again. I deleted all my online profiles, changed my identity, and moved to a different country. I live a quiet, anonymous life now, always looking over my shoulder, always checking for hidden cameras. I never found out who Anya truly was, or what she wanted with me. But sometimes, late at night, when I'm alone, I still feel her cold, predatory gaze. And I wonder if she's still out there, lurking in the digital shadows, waiting for her next perfect match. And I wonder if someday, she'll find me again, and finish what she started.